This college is going to celebrate its centenary shortly within 2 years. So it is very important and very much glorifying event also that today, this date, 28th February, eventually National Science Day, is observed as Narsina Dutt Memorial Day. So I'm sure that all the things in Narsina Dutt Memorial Day will be memorable for all. And this session, organized by Science Club in collaboration with IQAC Narsina Dutt College, will be an enjoyable and enriching one. I would like to welcome Dr. Pinak Tarafdar and Mrs. Payal Bhattacharya, our honorable speakers. And I'm sure that our students and colleagues are going to join, and this session will be a memorable and enjoyable one. I would like to congratulate you all, and I would like to tell you to carry on the program and wish a grand success of this program. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am, for those inspiring words. A very good evening to all the honorable speakers, respected principal ma'am, IQAC coordinator, professors, and my dear friends. We would like to thank our principal ma'am for her constant encouragement and support towards the students. It is our pleasure and privilege to host you today as we welcome eminent academists. We are celebrating National Science Day. National Science Day is celebrated on February 28th every year to mark the discovery of the Raman effect by Nobel Prize winning Indian physicist C.V. Raman. This year, the theme of National Science Day is Integrated Approach in Science and Technology for a Sustainable Future. Due to some unavoidable circumstances, our college could not observe World Cancer Day on the specific date. So we are observing it today along with National Science Day through posters made by the students. Alan Turing, a brilliant mathematician who broke the Nazi encryption machine Enigma, came up with a history-changing question: can machines think? In 1950. The actual research began in 1956 at a conference held at Dartmouth College, United States of America. A couple of attendees at the conference were the ones who came up with the idea and also the name artificial intelligence. Today we are going to learn more about artificial intelligence from Mrs. Payal Bhattacharya. She completed BTech in IT and MBA with dual specialization in IT and marketing. She is a postgraduate teacher in computer science and is associated with the NGO Live Life Happily. She reviewed class 11-12 computer science books for KIPS publication first edition in 2021 and 22. She also received Regional Incentive Award of KVS Kolkata region in 2019. We welcome Mrs. Payal Bhattacharya to share her knowledge on the emerging trends of artificial intelligence with us.
Uh, Excuse me, Deboshmita.
Yes, ma'am.
One, our respected audience are requested to put down your questions in the chat box, please. Thank you, Deboshmita. Please carry on.
Ma'am, we will invite you for the presentation.
Good evening, everyone. Namaskar. Am I audible?
Yes, madam, you are audible.
And the visible too?
Indeed, true.
Thank you so much. It gives me an immense pleasure to be with all of you. My best wishes to everyone on National Science Day. Should I start the presentation?
Yeah, you can proceed on, madam.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm really grateful to the college, Narasimha Datta College, for giving me this opportunity to interact with all of you. It's my pleasure to be with everyone. And I especially would like to thank Mrs. Shoma Bandopadhyay, Principal Ma'am of ND College, and Dr. Kuntal Chattopadhyay, IQAC Coordinator, and of course, Professor Shubhrata Kumar Basu, Secretary of Science Club of ND College. I am Payal Bhattacharjee, PGT Computer Science of KV number 1, Kachrapara. And this is my blog link. If anyone wants to interact with me, can contact through this blog. Well, the topic today is emerging trends in artificial intelligence. Quite a vast topic and escalating topic. So this is visible. The screen is visible to everyone.
Yes, madam.
Okay. Thank you. It will be a two-way interaction with the students. Students are here. Though I take classes in school of class 11th and 12th, but it will be a great time to interact with the college students now. Now, what are the emerging trends in artificial intelligence nowadays? We will be covering this topic, artificial intelligence and then machine learning, and the scopes of artificial intelligence and the domains of artificial intelligence we will see. Natural language processing, NLP, augmented reality and virtual reality, AR, VR, expert systems, robotics, Internet of Things, sensors and smart cities, and blockchain technology. Few more topics are there like cloud computing and grid computing. I wanted to cover those also, but there's a time constraint which I have seen. But then I will be sharing this PDF with everyone, this PPT. So all of you can get all those topics. I will give all those topics there as well. So what is this emerging trends means? What is the word emerging means? What is the word emerging means? Someone from your side? Students?
Something new that is coming up to us.
Yeah, very good. Something new which is coming, the latest one, a buzzword, like anything which the topic which emerges faster than any other topic, and the topic which is being discussed much more than anyone else. And the emerging trends in IT industry is, of course, beneficial for the growth and development of industries, business, and economy and society. So even if you can see that we have a mobile, today we have a latest mobile, tomorrow we'll get another new version of that. So every day, latest thing is coming up. Every day, every moment, in fact, we are getting new or emerging trends. So what is IT? In information technology, it is the study and design and development, application, implementation, and support or management of computer-based information system. This you already know, because you must have heard this IT term. And there are many, I think, with the background, IT background over here, computer science, those who have taken computer science as their honors, I hope. Isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. So what is artificial intelligence? Let's move on to this topic. First of all, do you think yourself to be intelligent? If yes, then what are the features you have? It's a general question to everyone. Students, do you think yourself to be intelligent? If yes, then what are the characteristics? as a human we have? One or two features?
Ma'am, it's our abstract thinking.
Exactly, very good. The cognitive mind, we have our cognitive mind, which is able to think, perceive, learn, and solve a lot of problem, and we can decide also. So as a human being, we can do a lot of things like this. But do you think a machine or a system, the system in front of whom you are sitting right now, do you think it has got any intelligence? It doesn't have any natural intelligence which human beings or animals we possess. So we want these systems or machines to be intelligent and intelligently work or decide or solve problems on their own. Whenever any kind of situation arises, any kind of situation they face, we want the system to act accordingly. So when a system, we want when that the system should display that kind of intelligence. Now that intelligence is the artificial intelligence, and that we have to give it to that. We have to make the system learn that artificial intelligence. So it's a branch of computer science, of course, where we build smart machines to perform various kinds of tasks. So it, you can say it's a technology, a field of study for building machines and algorithms, है ना? So the ability of machines to perform all these cognitive tasks. Cognitive means, brain, related to brain, intellect. So thinking, perceiving, learning. So again, AI, we can say that it's an approach to make a computer, a robot, or a product to think, act, and behave like a human. And it can do a variety of tasks, enabling connectivity and enhancing productivity. We want that only. Now, what are the disciplines of AI? See, if you have taken, suppose, biology as your subject, you don't think that you can run away from AI. Now, AI is now integrated with almost all the subjects. You will have to face, because AI we have in our everyday life. So you cannot move away from AI, artificial intelligence, and the world is entirely running on this IT and integrated with AI. So here we can see that AI is a combination of different disciplines. You can see computer science, psychology, neuroscience, and then biology, maths, sociology, philosophy, etc. So creating intelligent systems that behave like a human in terms of thinking, learning, and differentiating between right and wrong. Moving on to what are the fields of AI? We have different fields like machine learning, where we have predictive analysis and deep learning. Then speech, it has text to speech and speech to text. Vision, where image recognition is there and machine vision is there. You must have noticed facial recognition in mobiles. Many of us, we have that system of giving facial recognition as our password. Do you have that? Many of us, we opt that. So their neural network or the machine has to learn that. So that is image recognition. And in fact, more than 70 to 80 features are there on our face, which actually detects that exactly this is the face, whose mobile is this. So there are a lot of complicated things, of course, inside this. And then the next field is language processing, natural language processing we have, and then expert systems, planning and optimization, and robotics. So there are various fields of AI. And the goals of AI is, again, knowledge representation, to represent information that a machine or computer can understand. Plan, that is sequence of actions to perform to achieve a goal. To learn, to develop intelligent machines that could learn on their own, so that there's no more human intervention is required. So you have to feed a lot of data to that system so that the system is able to understand things, to solve the problem, and there's no requirement of any human intervention. And then we want the AI, that particular system, that machine, to read and understand the human languages. So that means social intelligence must be there, and then general intelligence must be there, so that it can react on sensors and to act and react on sensors. Then creativity to help robots acquire intelligence and perform tasks smartly. And finally, problem solving. Develop quality systems that can recognize, interpret, process, and simulate human effects. And all these can be achieved for better decision making, of course, when intelligent systems can predict their motive and emotions. So a hell lot of thing we want from this dumb box, and that means we have to give a lot of input to this. A normal programming which we do is not artificial intelligence actually. That I will show you later what is there. So first let's see applications of AI. And AI is everywhere. You talk about gaming industry, who doesn't want to play game, right? So gaming, and then astronomy, healthcare, transport, agriculture, education, e-commerce, entertainment industry, robotics, automotive, and then social media, data security, finance. Everywhere we can see the application of AI. So you choose any field, you will get AI. Now, classification of AI, if we do on the basis of the capabilities, then we can see there are three: artificial narrow intelligence, weak AI, general intelligence, and artificial super intelligence, super AI. And right now, human, they have only started with the narrow intelligence part. We still are behind this. We have not reached this general intelligence and super intelligence part. What is it? In narrow intelligence, we want the system to work for a dedicated one task or two tasks like that. But then general intelligence is where we want the system to perform like a human, to think or act like a human. And super intelligent is where that the system will have some kind of emotions. Like you must have watched the movie Robot of Rajnikant. Have you all?
Yes.
Yeah. So, okay, I can hear a voice of a main student, I think. Great. So, where the robot is having some kind of emotion. Now, that's a great thing. It's a part of super intelligence where a robot is having its own emotion, and it's interacting, acting, and showing its it's behaving in such a way as if a human is having emotions. So that is a super intelligent thing, where we can see it in other movies also. We have seen in a lot of Hollywood and Bollywood movies a super intelligence kind of a thing, but still we are lagging behind. So let us talk about narrow intelligence, where we are right now. So that means you can say that only 10 to 20% of this AI human beings have is able to work on this. The rest 80% is still left. That means a huge lot of work is left for you all. And I really want all of you to go for research field and all, because India needs scientists. India need researchers and scientists. We have a dearth of scientists. So the entire AI field needs you. Okay, so this narrow intelligence is, if you have noticed, this Apple Siri. Who doesn't know about Apple Siri or Alexa? Alexa, please switch on the lights. Alexa, play a beautiful music for me. All of you have seen it in ads also. So there we have seen the work of weak narrow intelligence. And then there are several marketing bots. And then if you have noticed, the recommendations which we get in like Disney Hotstar, or in Spotify, or in different like Amazon or something, where we get the recommendations of, suppose you have watched a certain kind of movie, and then if you like, suppose you get a recommendation of the same kind. Suppose you have watched a movie of particular genre, and the same kind of recommendations come. You have noticed that? So there the artificial intelligence is working. Have you ever noticed that in Facebook, when you post something, suppose a group photo you have posted, and the tags, they ask you for tagging this friend. How that system understands that in the group photo, the photo is of that particular person? So there also artificial intelligence is there. Then driverless cars. Can you name the company which makes this self-driving cars?
Tesla.
Yeah, very good, Tesla. And we have seen in e-commerce sites also like this recommendations. And who doesn't know about playing chess with a computer? So here also we have seen the work of AI. It's narrow intelligence, and then general intelligence is where intellectual task can be done by the system, and where the system can think like a human by its own. And in super intelligence, where we have seen it in movies, like where it can perform any task better than human with cognitive properties. So again, more than general, super kind of a thing. Like you must have seen the movies, the Hollywood movies, all these Captain America and Thor and all, etc. So there you can see the work of super intelligence. And in movies we can see, but yet we have to develop it in reality. So where the in super intelligence is where the system is able to make its own judgment, play, learn, communicate, and understand the problem, and then solve the problem also. So this is quite a huge thing. Understanding the problem, thinking about that problem, giving a reason to that problem, and solving that problem is a huge thing. So it's still a hypothetical concept. Now moving on to what are the different career opportunities in AI. Can anyone read from your side career opportunities in AI? Any
Yes,
student?
ma'am.
Yeah, please.
Big data engineer, business
Data.
intelligence developer,
Yeah.
data scientist, machine learning engineer, research scientist, AI data analyst, product manager, AI engineer, robotics scientist.
Great. So there are several other opportunities. These are the top opportunities which usually they ask for. And some of the top companies I have given, there are several, there are thousands of companies who use AI. Amazon is there, Apple, Google, Facebook, DJI is one of the Chinese companies, Clarify, DeepMind, Casetext, DataVisor, Uber, Twitter, and there are several other companies who use AI as a background. So the scope is large, is vast. As I've already said that it's escalating. I just want to know what kind of what programming languages you all are learning. What do you have in your syllabus? If there's anyone who is having computer science and IT as their honors.
Language Python, Java, and C++,
Okay.
JavaScript.
Great. So you need that only. Java, JavaScript, Python, highly demanding languages. And then Lisp is another language, is one of the oldest languages, Lisp processing, but it's still in use and used for the development in AI. And Prolog is there, logical programming, programming with logic, and R programming, R language. And there are several other, and there are a few libraries which are imported in Python, like TensorFlow, Cafe, and there are several other. Using those, you can make expert systems. Have you ever thought of making your own drone? Have you ever thought of that? You must be having, I think later on you must be having your projects and all, where you will be doing all those things. I don't know about your syllabus, but then you will learn all this thing and Arduino and all. Anyhow, so these are the programming languages. So you people are on the correct track, where you are learning Python, Java and all. So these are the best programming languages which is used in artificial intelligence. Now, several applications are there. If you can see, smart assistants, Alexa and Siri in Apple phones, you can see in Apple iPads. Then social media monitoring tools, where it tells you about the dangerous content or false news. And then robo advisors for stock exchange marketing. Here, expert systems, they work. And these robo advisors, they act as an expert system where they help in stock marketing, stock trading. spam filters on email. Now you all have email IDs, right? So there's an email filtering where uh, the important mails are given in the inbox, and the unimportant ones, the spams, are taken to another spam box. So how do they understand? So a lot of data is being fed there, where it understands that, okay, these kind of thing which are spam mails, which are bombarded in a bulk, are spams. So in this way, in here also artificial intelligence work. Then you have disease mapping and prediction tools, and this is, uh, as you know, that the entire world is still struggling with this pandemic. So here, disease mapping and prediction tools, all the researchers are after this, and they are working on this using all these prediction tools and disease mapping tools. They are working on the pattern of different variants and whatever, like in they are doing. Then they are using this artificial intelligence for predicting. Then you have manufacturing and drone robots, conversational bots for marketing and customer service. Uh, have you ever seen in any of the websites nowadays? In almost all the websites, you must have seen a pop-up menu comes up at the right hand side. Suppose here, like if you open the HDFC Bank's website, then you will see a help like Eva, the name of the artificial intelligence which is being adopted there is Eva, the Eva robot. It helps us, and it asks what do you want to see from that. And then suppose you give that, I really want to see the something on loans, and it will give you these things are there. And then again, according to your choice, it will give again the next few things which you want to see. So and in other marketing sites also, you will see these are conversational bots. I've given one example, Eva, which is being launched by HDFC Bank. Then recommendations, as I've already said, Netflix and Disney Hotstar and Spotify and all these, they have this recommendations. Here also the AI works. Then optimize personalized healthcare treatment recommendations. Here also we have AI. So let's see machine learning. Machine learning is also a part of AI, where AI works with the machine. And here, if you can see, a human is saying, I can learn everything automatically from experiences. Can you learn? That means human learns from the experiences. Machine says, yes, I can also learn from past data with the help of machine learning. So you have to feed a lot of data to the machine so that it can understand, okay, this is this. Suppose suppose a child of 2 years, suppose 1 or 2 years, you show the child that okay, this is a cat who has 4 legs and all. The color is white, so it understands that okay, this is a cat. It experiences, and the next time again it sees a cat and understands that okay, this is a cat. And he says to his mother that this is a cat. The next time if he sees a dog, white color with 4 legs, what he will say? He will again say that, Mama, this is a cat. So now then he has to be given that particular, he has to learn that from the experiences, and no, that is not a cat, that's a dog. In the same way, machine has to be fed a lot of data to it so that it can understand, distinguish, and solve a problem. In traditional programming, what we are doing, you have learned programming. All of you have done a lot of programming. So in traditional programming, we have done program code, we have fed to the computer, we have given input to the computer, and we get the output. And what happens in machine learning is we feed the computer with inputs, we give the output, and we want the machine to make the code, to simulate, to give the algorithm in such a way that it will solve it on its own. That means this time the program code, the machine has to give, that the machine has to learn about the input and output, and then it has to give the solution. So here is the difference between traditional programming and machine learning. Are you all able to understand this?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So machine learning is the technique that gives computers the potential to learn without being programmed. And it is actively being used in our daily life, right? And machine learning allows the user to feed a computer algorithm and an immense amount of data and have the computer analyze and make data driven recommendations and decision based on only all these input data. I hope I'm not boring everyone. Applications of machine learning. Again, the same thing: traffic prediction, search engine results, online fraud detection, medical diagnosis, text and speech recognition, email spam filtering, image, virtual personal assistant, and automatic translation. Again, same applications of machine learning. You can see here in Google Maps, also in Uber, and all this thing we have already covered. The domains of AI. Quickly, I'm telling you about domains of AI. Data. Different types of data are there in AI systems. Data are of various kind, like it can be a sound file, it can be text, it can be image, it can be video. So the heart of artificial lies in data only, because you cannot develop an AI system if you don't have adequate data. You have to feed the system with adequate amount of data. Now the next domain is computer vision. Computer vision is also known as machine vision or artificial vision, where machines learn how to see and perceive the human world. You gaming and driverless cars, computer vision. Defect detection is what? If you can see this diagram, this is an assembly line where a lot of cars are being made in a line, and these are all non-humanoid robots which are checking where there is any kind of defect, like if there's any crack in the metals or paint detects or bad prints, and these are being checked and identified. If there's a minute crack also, then the entire batch will be removed. So this is not possible for a human to check, but these expert systems, these artificial intelligence systems, they are able to do these things. They can detect the defects. Then you have in gaming, of course, needless to say about gaming. Then in driverless cars, I've already said there's a LiDAR technology, which works with the driverless cars. So here also computer vision is there, because without visioning, without modeling the entire thing, the driverless car cannot move forward. It has to model what is there. It's around when it is moving through a road. What are the different buildings and roads and the traffic signals and all? Everything is being modeled there. And the domain of AI, another domain of AI is this natural language processing. I've already said about this. And every one of us, we have used this, the Google Translator. At one or some other point of time, you must have used this Google Translator, isn't it? Where
Yes.
where we say something, and it gives the equivalent text, and suppose we want to see the pronunciation of a certain thing, then we search, or the definition of something, we search for that particular word, and there's a picture of audio, and then you click on it and it will speak for you. So text to speech and speech to text. So Google Translator, all these things are the examples of natural language processing. So NLP refers to the AI method of communication with an intelligent system using naturally written or spoken languages like Hindi or English. Dialogue-based clinical expert systems are also there. And if we talk about the components of natural language processing, NLP, then there are two components, NLU and NLG, natural language understanding, like Alexa, Siri, Google Assistants, with the artificial intelligence language that uses computer software to recognize text or speech sentences. But here in natural language generation, a particular meaningful phrases or sentences are fed to that system, to that intelligent system, and it will generate hundreds and thousands of pages per second for you, like reports and all. It will give you a summarized report of everything. You just feed certain phrases or certain sentences. Accordingly, it will give you hundreds and thousands of pages report on everything. So that is natural language generation, the process of creating meaningful phrases and sentences in the form of natural language from some internal representation. So high level of expertise system is used here. Now moving on to the next topic, immersive experience. This is what about AR and VR? Someone please read this.
An immersive experience pulls a person into a new or augmented reality, enhancing everyday lives with technology.
Yeah, augmented reality. So immersive experience. Immersive, what is the meaning of immersive? To immerse, like to immerse in water, matlab doob jana, right? So immersive experience, there you forget about everything and you just immerse yourself in that particular scenario. So here we have two things, augmented reality and virtual reality. Who all have played Pokemon Go? So have ever, all of us, we have heard about this Pokemon Go game. Have you ever played that?
No, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Even I have never played. Anyways, but Pokemon Go is one of the games, highly popular game, but then it is augmented reality, which is integrated in that Pokemon Go game. In augmented reality, what is there? The real world and the virtual world, you can distinguish clearly between those two worlds. Like you will be given, suppose you want to see a 3D image of a tiger or a lion, you just write in Google in your mobile, you just write in 3D tiger and you will be able to see. Thoda, so you come down and you will be able to see there. So you can see its 3D images and you can move it 360 degree. You have heard about Arlupa. Arlupa is one of the apps which can give you 3D images and of various things. Anyhow, so augmented reality, it gives us you know something where you have the virtual world, but still you can distinguish between the real world. And in virtual reality, what happens is you use a specific particular VR headset, virtual reality headset is there, where when you wear that headset, you feel as if you are there inside that particular, suppose a game or a movie, you are that inside that environment and you are not able to distinguish between the real and the virtual world. It's very hard to distinguish between the real and the virtual world. So visually you immerse yourself in that. So I'm just showing you the examples. These are the examples of augmented reality. We can see that the person is there and he has given a picture with a tiger. Here he has used this 3D tiger image, and we can very well understand the difference between the real world which is there at the background and he himself is in the real world, whereas this tiger which is shown is in the virtual world. Here also you can see. And then in education also augmented reality is used, and in virtual reality where we see in entertainment industries and all, their virtual reality, and in different games are also there. You must have played games in if you have ever gone to any game parlor where you wear a headset and as if you are inside that game only when you are playing. Now what is there in AR and VR? Artificial intelligence is now being integrated with this AR and VR to give a better experience. So artificial intelligence is being implemented in this AR and VR. Moving on, expert systems. In expert systems, I've already I've been telling about all these systems which are expert, and a computer system that emulates the decision making ability of a human expert. It's got a knowledge base, as if a knowledge base of an expert is being used. That is expert system. It can solve complex problems by reasoning through bodies of knowledge. And there you have if else rules. You've heard this logic of if else in programming you have done. So there are if else rules through which through conventional procedural codes you represent the problem, and the expert system is able to solve it with the entire big knowledge base. So that is expert system. And the applications, there are several applications like in agriculture sector, in horticulture, then in medical field, in automobile industry, and in finance, and in defense. In defense, right now the world is going through a tremendous stage. All of us know that there's a war between Ukraine and Russia. Nobody wants a war of this kind. But there are expert systems which, like unmanned missiles, are being used. There are like air defense systems are being used. There, the application of artificial intelligence and expert systems are there. And we all really want a good use of science, not a bad use, isn't it? So anyhow, I'm not going into that, but then expert systems are used everywhere. Moving on to robotics. I hope I'm not really boring, but I've taken a lot of time, I know. Just little bit of topic is left, this robotics, big data, and smart cities. May I continue?
Yes, ma'am. It's very interesting session.
Oh, okay, thank you so much. So we can. So robot is what? So what is a robot? Someone from your side can read this. What is a robot?
A robot is a machine, usually one programmable by a computer, that can carry out a complex series of actions automatically.
Correct. And robots can be humanoid robots, which looks like human beings, and can be non-humanoid robots. This I've just shown you that in the assembly line where expert systems are working. In the defect detection section, I showed you this. So a machine, usually one programmable by a computer, that can carry out a complex series of actions and does automatically, of course. So robotics is a branch of study where uh, we study about designing, producing, operating, and usage of robots. You can see the examples here. There are several restaurants in Japan who use robots. This is India's first robot, humanoid robot, Shalu, social humanoid robot. It has got some expressions. It can speak 9 Hindi languages and more than 30 foreign languages. And he's a KV teacher. He's my colleague. He's from Kendriya Vidyalaya, Pune. Uh, I know him personally. Dinesh Patel sir. He has developed this, and this has come in a lot of magazines. They have shown about Shalu in Doordarshan and Star and different channels. They have shown about Shalu, and you can get about a lot of you can see videos on Shalu in YouTube also. So, and who doesn't know about Sophia? She is the world's first humanoid robot. She has expressions also. She can show several expressions on her face, and she can speak well and understand. You have seen her? You know, Sophia once visited India. Do you know this?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So you can see videos. And you know, in China, there are robot anchors, news anchors are there who exactly look like a real anchor. And when they speak, even that also, they as if a real person is speaking. There are 3 robot anchors who are there in the newsrooms. It's great to see them. You can see in YouTube also. Okay, so I'm moving on. Now let's move on to big data. big data and its characteristics. A large amount of data every fraction of second uh, is being exchanged, or it moves throughout, isn't it? Whether it's in business, whether it's in education industry, government, healthcare, weather patterns, banking, agriculture, everywhere, or airline or e-commerce, a lot of data is there, and that a lot of data is there which is not being processed also. So and many multinational companies, they are there to process the data and business of many organizations. Okay, if we talk about government, can you give an example of a lot of data where government records all the data? A lot of data is there. Can you give example? And they have taken all the records of every one of us.
Ma'am, the voter community, something like that. All
Yeah,
ID voters.
exactly. And even a child has that card, and even an elderly person has that card. Which one?
Aadhaar card.
Exactly, Aadhaar card. So can you imagine? We are crores in number, you know, and then all these data are there with the government. So it's a huge big data. And if you can imagine, at uh, at a single point of time, when you are posting something in social media, one single post is getting so many comments, so many people are being tagged. Only one single person, and one single person's one single photo has so much of data associated with it. So you can imagine, when there are several photos of one person, and when there are several photos, pictures, videos and all of so many persons all around the world. So can you imagine the huge amount of data mm, uh, which is moving every fraction of second? And see here, the data flow would exceed 150 exabyte per day before replication. Even before, when it gets replicated, copied, 150 exabyte per day is being moved. And in 60 seconds, see the amount of data everywhere. It is being transacted on exchange in Netflix, YouTube, Insta, Google. So many data is there in Twitter, WhatsApp, Facebook, Skype, isn't it? In different organizations. So moving on, what are the characteristics of this big data? The characteristics of big data is volume, huge amount of data, variety. Now variety is because the forms are different. No, some are textual, some are sound, some are images, some are in mails, some are in videos. So the sources are different. Value, useful data you can extract from them. Velocity, needless to say about the speed of data, how the data is being accumulated and it's moving on the network. The velocity is so high. And veracity is what? Veracity is the inconsistency or uncertainty in data. Means if there's any error in the data, that is also one of the characteristics of big data. There can be errors. Inconsistent data can be there. So because there are unprocessed data also. So these are the characteristics of big data. And without these big data, how you will feed the system? If you don't have big data, a lot of amount of data, how you will feed those expert system? Without the data, you cannot have any artificial intelligence system. So you must know about this data. And then IoT. Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
madam.
Fine.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
IoT is Internet of Things, sensors and smart cities. Internet of Things is what? Before I talk about Internet of Things, let me show you this. What can you see? What is there written?
Home, smart home.
And who doesn't want this? Every one of us, we want some cool gadgets around us, and we want a high-tech lifestyle with a great technology all around us. As soon as we enter a room, we want to say our AC. There are intelligent and smart ACs and washing machines and TVs, and so many things are there. We suppose you enter your room, and the room will automatically, with the smart thermostat, it will make a temperature of the room in such a way so that it will make it soothing for you, even if it's very hot outside or very extreme cold is there. Who doesn't want that kind of a home? And suppose you have forgotten to lock the garage door and you are there in your office, so what you will say? You will say from there itself through your mobile, suppose you will say that please lock the garage door, and the garage door will get locked. There are smart door locking security system, all this thing are there, and we want a home to be a smart home like this. So here, if you can see, the different devices are interacting with each other. Our mobile is interacting with the security, a smart door lock, and different systems are there. So when these things are interconnected, then we say Internet of Things. When the things are connected, now here things can be a human, can be an animal with some sensors, some kind of device with them, and we can say it's some kind of devices or things like a fridge or a TV, a smart fridge or a smart TV or a smart AC, also a thing. So Internet of Things, all these, when they are connected to each other in a network through internet, then that is Internet of Things. And benefits of smart homes are what? Energy conservation, growing technology, remote control. Through a remote area, you can control all the appliances and devices which you have. You have smarter and better communication, and all these devices are connected, and you can save money, of course. So a home which is equipped with lighting, heating, and electronic devices that can be controlled remotely by smartphone or computer. And here lies this concept of Internet of Things. So here, things that are embedded with sensors, software, processing ability, and other technologies for the purpose of connecting and exchanging data with other devices. As I've said, that my mobile is interacting with the garage door lock. Okay, I'm giving you an example of this. Suppose there's an elderly person at your home, and there are several heart monitoring systems which are implanted or which are given with that. They, whenever they move for jogging in the morning, suppose if a person has a health problem away from his home, then immediately the family members, they will get a call, the ambulance will get a call immediately. And giving you another example, if I have a smart car, and if a person is having a smart car and that car has all sensors, and when the person is moving in a car, if the car meets an accident anywhere and the person is alone, suppose, and the car meets an accident, then who will give news to the family members and ambulance and police? The smart car will give all the information. The smart car will call the police station, will call the ambulance, will call the family members, and along with the GPS location of where the accident has happened. So this is one of the examples of Internet of Things, where things are connected and there are embedded
Ma'am,
systems. Yeah.
ma'am, I have one doubt. Ma'am, if whole system, it is based on system, right? So if whole system is being got hacked, then what will happen, ma'am?
Exactly, and that is there in my next slide. So what is the advantage of Internet of Things? A very good question you have asked. Internet of Things is, the advantages are what? May I know your name? Who has asked me this question?
Ma'am, Shishindu Bhattacharya, ma'am.
Shishindu, very good. So the advantages of IoT is what? You can access information from anywhere at any time on any device. You can have improved communication between connected electronic devices. You can transfer data. You can save time and money. You can have a improved quality in your business service, and which reduces the need for human intervention. Now, if we talk about disadvantages, Shishendu, here you can see the potential problem still lies. Potential problem
Yes,
is
ma'am.
that, yes, the hacker could still steal confidential information. It definitely increases that problem. And if you have multiple devices, millions of devices which are interconnected, it's very hard, it's very challenging for a human being to get acquainted with everything and then controlling all these things together. Suppose there are, even if you think about 10 devices I have, suppose all interconnected, it's very hard for a human being like me at least to handle everything. So yeah, this it's likely that the system will become very complex.
Ma'am,
Yeah,
ma'am,
and there
can
can be
we,
bugs.
ma'am, can we construct any things that can be anti-hack, something like that? Means we can prevent these hacking
Why not? Why
systems.
not? We will definitely try, of course. You have ever installed antivirus in your system, Shishendu?
Yes, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
But still, and everyday virus are being also programmed. Viruses are malicious program, right? They are
Yes,
program
ma'am.
only.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, ma'am.
So, there's a tough competition between a virus and an antivirus program. Where every day a new virus is coming, every day antiviruses are coming. So you use firewalls, you use different type of security in your system, but then again hackers are experimenting with newer things so that they can attack. So there's like uh, every time, and I'm giving another example of this, that you make your home jitna bhi secured, the thief, if the potential one who suppose a thief, the thieves are also getting themselves updated and upgraded every day, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
So there is a potential the thing in a threat is there, a potential threat is there, of course, in the system. So
Okay, ma'am.
we can make, again then they will also try to hack it, again you will improve and upgrade, again they will touch, this is a thing. And on this only the companies are working. If there is no virus, then the antivirus companies will stop altogether. And if there's no antivirus, and the programmers who are working for the viruses, those who are the hackers, or those who make these kind of mischiefs, they will also stop working then if there's no antivirus. So everything is required, good and bad.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, but then there are something, ethics is there. We must follow the ethics, that is the thing, isn't it? Okay, good, great. uh, So now let's talk about the sensors which are used in these smart homes. So this is something which is related to electronics, though. But I've just given sensors are the devices or the module, machine, or subsystem that detects changes in the environment and responds to some output. Like smoke detector, you've heard about smoke detector or fire alarm or rain sensors. All this, heartbeat sensors are there.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah,
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
color sensors or different kind of sensors are there, and they are being implemented in all these smart homes and in different smart appliances. So if you have a smart home, we can have a smart building, and smart building will reduce energy consumption, it will improve the building efficiency. Suppose there's a, in the entire building, if there is a space which is unused, then there will be a reminder, there will be a uh, there will be a notification that this particular place is not, the particular place is not being used. Yeah, suppose you have a garden where you have a water supply system and there is a wastage of water, then it will automatically stop and it will tell you that please switch off the machine before the water gets wasted. So we have smart home, smart building, and then if you have a smart building where you have fire safety 24 into 7 monitoring, energy management is there, then you can have a smart city, of course. Suppose there's a garbage in a city, and then a reminder will go to the municipality or the municipal corporation wherever you are staying there, that there's a garbage, please take it. Yeah, some kind of street lights are still on. Like you must have noticed that the street lights are switched on even in the daytime at few places. Kabhi kabhi you must have observed this. But then if there is an automatic system, then if there is a smart street light, it will get automatically switched off whenever it is not required. So we need a smart city also. But then you have a smart home, you have a smart building, you have a smart city, then you will have a smart nation, isn't it? But at the basics, what do you need? At the bottom level, what do you need? A smart person. You have to be a smart person. है ना? then only you can make, then only you can make, a smart person can make a smart home, can make a smart building, can make a smart city, and then your nation will become smart, isn't it? And grid computing and cloud computing, I've not covered this, but in my PPT I will be sharing this. Grid computing is about distributed computing. Cloud computing, you've heard this term, cloud computing. Cloud management is there. Client server computing, I can give you an example of Dropbox. You've ever used Dropbox? No. Okay.
Yes.
Acha, okay. In Dropbox, there is a thing like the things are kept in cloud. Cloud means not that cloud which is there at the top, not that. Cloud means uh, a place where all the important resources and everything are kept somewhere where we can share that thing. In Dropbox also is one of the example. Suppose you are in your college and you have worked on a certain document and you have saved it in a Dropbox folder, and then when you go back at home and you access that Dropbox folder, you will be able to see that particular file and the work till the last time you did. Then you can again work on that from your home, and then you again save. Suppose you update that at your home, that document, and you again save it in the Dropbox, and once you come back to college and you want to again work on that, you simply open the Dropbox folder and you get access to that particular file. Someone's audio is on, I think. Someone's audio is on. Please mute it. Okay. So this is the thing. Dropbox is helping. Otherwise, what we do? We save it in a pen drive and we take it again. We use it in a system at home, and again we change. We save it in the pen drive and again we keep it. Again we bring it. So Dropbox helps us to do this. So this is one of the examples of cloud computing. And then grid computing. Okay, in my PPT you will get things about grid computing and cloud computing. I'm not covering it now, and this is the last topic, blockchain. I've taken a lot of time with all of you. Blockchain technology. In blockchain technology, what happens is a system of recording information in a way that makes it difficult or impossible to change, hack, or cheat the system. Acha, before I talk about blockchain, what is it? Someone read, please.
Cryptocurrency.
Acha, okay. The someone who has not read till now.
Cryptocurrency, a type of digital money with an encryption that makes it secure. Users of currency remain anonymous.
Yeah. Who is using the currency? So you have seen this Bitcoin. You've heard about cryptocurrencies.
Yes.
There are
Yes,
so
ma'am.
many cryptocurrencies of different nations, and even our country is going to launch the digital currency of India. RBI has already declared it in the budget this time. It has been already declared that a cryptocurrency will be there. What is the name of that? Rupee. है ना? The Rupee Bitcoin is going to come. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
This is the type of digital money, and it is encrypted, means it is secured. No one easily can hack that, and that is why it is very secured. And who is using that particular currency, the name is not known to others. That makes it a digital money. Someone is using an encrypted format where you need it's highly encrypted, where nobody can easily get the password, can easily break that encrypted data, and who is actually transacting with that currency, the name is also unknown until and unless you are a member of that particular network. Now let's talk about blockchain technology. So here what you can see is, do you know ledger? In accountancy, a ledger is a book or collection of accounts in which different kinds of transactions are kept, like debit and credit, and all those separate columns are there, where different transactions are recorded. And suppose the January's transaction of a particular year is recorded, and then the February's transactions will be recorded. So in an order they are recorded, in a chronological order they are recorded, isn't it, in a ledger? Now the same way, a blockchain is a digital ledger of transactions that is duplicated and distributed across the entire network of computer systems on the blockchain. Now, what happens here is someone requests a transaction. Now, this block, which is having that digital currency, the data of that, and is requesting for a particular transaction, the request is broadcasted to given to every node in the network. Everyone on the network gets the information of that particular transaction which has been initiated by someone. If everyone on the node validates, means every node, every person who they validate, then that block will get added to the chain of blocks. If it is verified by everyone, then only that block get added in the already existing chain of blocks. Then only the transaction will become complete. And that makes the transaction unalterable. No one can easily hack this. It is kind of unalterable. And there is no third party involvement. It is very much trusted, and real-time tracking is there. It's highly secured. It reduces cost. It's a trusted transaction, very much transparent, and there is no single point of failure. Again, we can see this. The same thing, someone in a network requests a transaction. The transaction is broadcast to all the nodes, all the nodes means, nodes is a computer only. Whenever a computer gets connected to a network, then we don't say it as a computer, we say it a node, right? So node, it is broadcasted to every node. When every node on the network validates that, okay, this transaction, this particular block is okay, we agree with the algorithm, what is there in it, this is fine, we can validate, we can add it to the blockchain. Then after verifying the transaction, it is combined to other transactions in the block, and the verified transaction is combined with other transactions to create a new block of data for the ledger. And then the new block is added to the network's blockchain, and in a way which is permanent and unalterable. Then at the last, the transaction will get completed. So it started from here where the request was done for the transaction, and it ended here after so much of steps that the algorithm was validated by everyone. And then only when it got connected to the block of chains, then the transaction got completed. So these are the different advantages of blockchain. So finally, I have finished all my topic, and I have tried to go through almost all the topics. Though it's a very vast topic, it's not possible to cover everything. But then I'm really very thankful to all of you for patiently hearing me. So may I stop the presentation?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for sharing the informative presentation and lecture. This will help us to stay updated with the technology in the upcoming future. Now I request
Thank you, sir.
Professor Champa Mondal to conduct the question answer session.
Thank you, Deboshmita. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Good evening to all of you present in today's webinar. Now, it was indeed a very interesting discussion. However, because of time constraint, we can take up only a few questions. To begin with, our first question to Mrs. Payal Bhattacharya is from Dr. Krishnendu Ghosh. He has asked how data inputs are done in Da Vinci Surgery Bot, as differential delicate approaches are needed for individual surgery. Ma'am, am I audible? Hello?
Okay.
Huh.
This is something which is related to the something related to medical sciences.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, it's different from my background though. But then again, we have seen that the expert systems are there, and in expert systems, all these are done as we have seen that when a lot of data is being given, data is being given as input, then the particular bot it with the help of those data inputs, it experiences and then it solves the problem accordingly. And then there are techniques definitely inside, and there are a lot of algorithms and simulations which takes place, and accordingly those different data models are being generated, and then something of that sort is done.
Thank you, ma'am. Another question from one of our students, Suprabha Bishash. She asks, what is the difference between AI and machine learning?
Hardly. AI is a vast thing, and machine learning is a part of, you can say, where artificial intelligence are being implemented in the machines, and the machines are made to learn. Then only we say that the machine is learning, when the artificial intelligence part is implemented in that. So all the topics which I have covered, you cannot as such take artificial intelligence differently with machine learning, because when we are talking about any system, and when we are implementing and we are trying to implement artificial intelligence, is that means we are trying to say that the machine must learn that thing. So that is all about machine learning. So uh, we cannot as such say that machine learning is a different part of artificial intelligence. It's one of those parts.
Thank you, ma'am, for your lucid explanation of the questions. Because of time constraint, we have a few more questions, but because of time constraint, we shall try to mail the answers to audience. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, sure.
Debusmita.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am. Due to some time constraint, we are moving to the next presentation. Ethnomedicine broadly refers to the traditional medical practices concerned with the cultural interpretation of health, diseases, and illness that addresses the healthcare process and healing practices. It is a vast interdisciplinary science that includes the knowledge about the use of natural pharmaceuticals. From Indian Ayurveda to traditional Chinese medicine, from Muti of Africa to Unani medicine of Mughal India, it has been widely practiced in diverse ancient civilizations. Today we have Dr. Pinak Tarofdar among us. He is a professor at University of North Bengal with a subject specialization on social cultural anthropology. He completed 6 research projects funded by UGC, ICSSR, Sarva Shiksha Mission, Government of West Bengal, and University of North Bengal, with 1 ongoing research project. Dr. Tarafdar presented around 60 research articles, both in national and international events. He was the convener of the technical session on the 17th World Congress of International Union of Anthropological and Ethnological Sciences on Evolving Humanity, Emerging Worlds, held on 5th August to 10th August 2013 in Manchester, UK. He received 18th UISPP, International Union of Prehistoric and Prohistoric Sciences, Bursary Award to attend and present research paper on 18th UISPP World Congress held at University of Paris, France. Let us welcome Dr. Pinak Tarofdar and invite him to enlighten us with his knowledge on significance of traditional knowledge on healthcare practices. Sir.
Thank you very much. Am I audible to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, well audible.
So before I start, actually, I'm already getting a little bit late, and let's get started before I say anything. But before I start, I'd like to express my heartfelt thanks to the principal and all the organizer for making me a resource person for today's presentation. And let me start with. Okay, where is that one? Is it visible to all
Yes,
of you?
yes.
Yes.
Okay, so my today's presentation is significance of traditional knowledge on healthcare practices. Although today is a National Science Day, but I just would like to figure out something what we know so-called unscientific. I just would like to figure out something from the so-called unscientific in a way to make some sustainable scientific applications. So before I proceed more, let me start with a very, very lucid example of traditional knowledge. It refers to the matured, long-standing tradition and practices of certain regional, indigenous, and local communities. So traditional knowledge is a knowledge which is having its concomitant relationship with the survival of an ethnic group. So that's why it has a long-term effects on that community, and it transmits generation after generations, mainly verbally, although we have some sort of written records. So there, as I have already stated to you, there are some sort of traditional knowledge, and it's expressed through stories, legends, folklores, rituals, song, and even laws. In terms of indigenous notion of healthcare practices, there are physical, mental, and spiritual emotional elements, and which relies on personalistic belief system. You may be wondering about the term, what does personalistic belief system means? We have two kind of belief system behind etiology. So what does disease etiology mean? Disease etiology, always we try to figure out the reason behind the ailments what we have. Means once we have the disease, we have to figure out the reason behind the ailments. For example, COVID-19 we are experiencing right now. You know that everyone, we are experiencing the pandemic like COVID-19, but we know the reason of COVID-19. But if you really want to venture out some of the ethnic group those who don't know the scientific reason behind COVID-19, they must have their own explanations. So there is a belief system behind any kind of disease, which is known as personalistic belief system, which is having its own connotations, rather known as supernatural connotation. You may be wondering that in the day of science, that why do I argue for supernatural? Yeah, supernatural connotations are there because since time immemorial, in case of the prehistoric era, human beings always try to figure out the reason behind different kind of phenomena which has happened surrounding them. So for that kind of phenomena, what I'm trying to state, they wanted to take the abode, they wanted to find out the reason behind that. And it's sometimes become indispensable for them to figure out the thing through supernatural connotation. And that makes belief on personalistic system. Personalistic belief system is nothing but belief in supernatural phenomena. So before I proceed more, just I may have little bit technical issue. I don't know. Just let me get into this matter. Am I audible?
Yes, very clearly, very clearly.
Okay. I thought there may be some error. Okay. Today I want to share with you two works that I have done. First one is which had been made little bit, means around 15 years ago, and another work which I have carried out around 5 years ago. And I've selected two tribes living in two parts of the state. First one is Santal. I think that tribe is well known to you. And in the later part, I'd like to state something on the Drukpa populations inhabited in the northern part of West Bengal, that is in North Bengal. So, my today's main objective is to let you know that because ethnomedicine means the medicinal practice health. I have made a kind of methodology before I proceed to explore this kind of connotations. So what are these? While working on the Santal villages, what I have done, I have taken 3 categories of the villages. The first one, situated in the longest distance, is the villages that I have walked centering and it's inhabited by 2 populations. One is Santal, another one is Kora. If you can listen to me, please let me know. So because I may have some technical issue maybe in my laptop. So is it okay now? So
Yes, yes, yes. Very clear, very clear.
the next categories are 2 villages, which is quite far from the Jhargram town, quite far in a sense from any of the modern biomedical institutions, because in Jhargram, point to be noted, there is a hospital, Jhargram Medical College. So the category 2 villages situated quite far, but they're close to a rural hospital, which makes a substantive difference from category 1 villages. And in case of category 3, which is in a shorter distance of the Jhargram town and Jhargram hospital, but point to be noted that the communication is not too steady. So in case of the type 2 villages, communication is very much steady, although it is situated in quite far. But in type 3, quite close, communication is not good. So these 3 categories of villages I have taken, which makes more input for coming up explorations. I have already talked about personalistic belief system. In terms of personalistic belief system, what happens when people try to rely on the supernatural phenomena behind their diseases? You may be wondering in these days, in the day of science, that how can we rely on that? But people still believe on some sort of supernatural connotations behind their onset of diseases. I found, in both of the cases, in the category 1, they recognize the supernatural entity, particularly in terms of the ailments like pox, mental problem, and the event of jaundice. In case of the 2, I found they actually don't believe so much on the personalistic system. What I found in case of 1, point to be noted, these category 2 villages are very close and quite close to the Binpur Rural Hospital. At that point of time, there was a category in the medical institutions known as rural hospital. So the less belief I found day to day, but I interestingly found a very, very conspicuous phenomenon over there. Do you know what is that? That the female try to rely more on that, and whatever the ailments the female were having, they believe on supernatural connotation. And in case of the category 3, they still try to believe on some sort of supernatural connotations, particularly in terms of leprosy, snake bite, and the phenomenon we quite actually know, that is nojor laga in a Bengali, and even in English what we know, black sites in a sense. So these are 3 very, very basic categories, differences what I wanted to share with you. You know that in the first case, they believe 2 categories of the soul. One is malevolent, one is benevolent. You may be wondering that, what does it mean? Benevolent is a soul which actually act for the well-being. And malevolent, they act for the onset of various kind of ailments. One has to appease both of the soul, but benevolent soul may turn to malevolent if the appeasement process is not done properly. Try to understand. So I found both of the cases. In case of Aga Boroshamnagar, point to be noted, category 1 villages are quite far and situated in the far-flung areas. Type 2, they try to stick particularly as far as ghost soul connotations with menstrual cycle. Point to be noted, female menstrual cycle, centering menstrual cycle. We have lots of phenomena. Yeah, we can say it's a prejudice. We can say some sort of personalistic connotations. Even point to be noted, it may be some sort of interpretations of patriarchal society, nothing else. That's why we have some sort of very, very significant phenomena in terms of female disease, and they wanted to relate it with some sort of ghost and soul attack. Try to understand. I'll just explain these in the later of cases. Point to be noted, Valuka, they don't have much more belief on this kind of phenomena. It's very close to the modern health institutions. And the next one, although it's quite close to Jharkhand Hospital, as I said, but communication is not better, as I found in case of category 2. So ghost and soul attack were also there, but effect is less, not like we know or I found in case of category 1. And some of them vehemently said that we don't believe this kind of ghost and soul conceptions in the contemporary era. I just wanted to make you aware what I got from the informant directly, because in the anthropological world, in the anthropological realm, we wanted to go for direct interactions with the informant. We stayed over there for a long time. I actually stayed, and I have been with the populations for a substantive period of time, and through which we or I, even the scientists, can be able to figure out the different kind of consequences in their daily life. Let me proceed to the next one. The next one is role of deities. You may be wondering once again in the Science Day. Yes, they believe different kind of deities, according to them, which is having a direct relationship with the onset of disease and well-being of the person. As I walked on the Santal, some of you, if you have any kind of idea regarding the population of Santal, they're the tribal people, and they have their own god, supreme god, known as Marang Buru. They believe on Marang Buru. Marang Buru actually acts as a benevolent spirit. I told you, I've already explained to you what does benevolent spirit mean. Benevolent spirit mean is a good way of actions, good god. And according to them, Marang Buru controls all the disease-free life among the Santals. And I found that all the villages, as I've already stated to you, that all the villages, apart from some tiny population of Kora, mainly they are the Santal people. So they have a strong belief on Marang Buru and reported from all the villages. And they've also stated that recovery from any kind of disease and misfortunes could only be dependent on the worshipping process of Marang Buru, right? Along with that, there is a village deity. Village deity having its own implications and connotation. In each of the village, I found different kind of village deities and different kind of village deities and different names, and all of that deities are being worshipped for the well-being of the people, of the villagers. And it's reported from all the villages. But point to be noted, impression is very much high from the first category of the villages, situated in a quite far area. Let me proceed to the next two. It's not a new to you. Sitala and Manasha. Santal people having a long term staying with the mainstream Bengali people. Mainstream Bengali people, what does they mean? They mean the Hindu population. So here we can get the influence of the Hindu people, Hindu populations, for long term being inhabited with them, a kind of thing technically used as a syncretism. Those who are from anthropology background, they can understand that. But for everyone, syncretism is a process where it's very tough to figure out the cultural traits of a population. So for long-term inhabitants of the Santal people with the Bengali Hindu people, these kind of gods are being worshipped by them and completely internalized by the population. And they also believe and started to believe with this kind of god, where even we know being a Bengali that Santal is having pox and Manasha is related with the snake bite, these kind of things. I just would like to make sure you don't make me wrong that I'm here to advertise something which is known as superstitious. Let me proceed. Then I definitely would like to hear all sort of queries, and you shouldn't be so much inquisitive as you are feeling right now. Before I proceed, let me just know I'm okay for my voice and screen.
Yes, sir.
The next one, you know, the name of the disease on your screen with the plant's name. Up to that, some sort of supernatural phenomena, connotation, some sort of things you are wondering about, superstitions that I have stated. But right now, it's a direct way on the herbal medicine. If you questions with some sort of phenomena that I've stated, not being a superstitious, but here, while stating the herbal medicine and its efficacy, question doesn't lie. You know, female disease, as I found from them, they're having lots of female disease, even having some complications in the menstrual cycle. You know, it's very usual among the female. We are also having this kind of phenomena in our life. Our females also having. So the plants they use known as Rabon Lata. Snake bite, they use Siv Jata. Cough and cold, they use Galancha leaf. Diarrhea, they use Buddhidhatram. I've also mentioned, you may be wondering that I haven't stated some sort of scientific name, what we usually state after being requested by the healer. Point to be noted, it's been found that the people walked on the population, try to know the medicinal usages, and knowingly or unknowingly, it's been with the pharmaceutical company. They use it for their own purpose, for the business, without recognizing the population. Here the question lies on the patent. And you may be wondering about the snake bite with some, you know, herbal medicine or plants. How far we know? We know about antivenom. We know about all sort of medical practices, which is confined within the biomedical practices. But we still are not having much more knowledge on the comprehensive understanding of herbal medicine and even some sort of natural applications are there which could be used to get rid of snake bite. In terms of even snake bite, one point should be noted that in most of the cases, 80% snake bites are being happening. The snakes are not venomous. Whenever the snake are not venomous, what happened? People require some sort of treatment which they really need as a psychological support. You may be wondering, no, it's better to go to hospital, try to understand the phenomena happen with the people living in a far-flung areas during the rainy day or in the midnight. How do they access the modern biomedical system within a short span of time? Is it possible? Even after 70 years of our independence, can you state that we have already made sure that people can get access all the biomedical facilities, even whenever, wherever it is required? No, I'm sorry to state we can't. So these kind of substitutes are being used by them. Try to understand. And you can question some efficacy. Yeah, I can also question the efficacy level of the vaccine that we are using. If we would have already having efficacy level of the vaccine corona 100%, then there won't be any corona and there won't be any death due to COVID-19, but it's been going on. So always we question the ethnomedicine, always we question the tribal medicine, but we never question the biomedical practices. It also has its limitation. Let me proceed more. These are some more things. Cough and cold is very common. Everyone knows snake bite and stomach ache been reported from the herbal medicinal man and as well as from the population. I don't want to get you bored at any way. If you have any queries, any questions, feel free to state at any point of time. You know, each and every population, even I found, they're having their own healers known as traditional healers. They're having their own position in the society, respectable position. People belonging to that community often prefer to visit them, often seek their assistance. Do you know why? Because they feel psychological assurance more often rather than visiting a biomedical practitioners, because there is a gap of culture. There is a gap of language. There is a gap of perception. Considering these kind of phenomena, because these are very much required for medication. Medication is not only with the medicine. Medication is a comprehensive health aid. Try to understand. So I found lots of kind of Oja. I still argue. I'm not arguing that people are being treated by Oja. Point to be noted. What do they do if they record urgent health needs during an awkward time? Whenever they're experiencing some untoward situation, they can't even access to the closest modern medical or biomedical center, which mostly are being placed quite far, not accessible, and there is no or less communication. They don't have any other option. And you know, as far as efficacy is concerned, as far as the treatment modality is concerned, there must be something. Otherwise, the populations have been with the treatment would have been already exhausted, not even being existing in their own way. They're still existing with the treatment, because I found some sort of things that jaundice are being treated, some sort of things like even female disease are being treated with various kind of proceedings, a combinations of magic or religious process along with the applications of herbal medicine. Some sort of pictures that I wanted to share with you. This is the first thing. The next one I have already stated to you. The previous work I have done a little bit around 15 years ago. The next one, the present one, is around 4 to 5 years ago. It's a place in northern part of West Bengal. Erstwhile Jalpaiguri district, after that bifurcated Alipurduar district. I walked with another tribal population known as Drukpa. You must have heard the Druk. They drink Druk. Yeah, they have their own affiliations with the Bhutan. Here I also, consider, hopefully on your screen, there are villages known as Daragao, Lalbanglo. Could you please confirm?
Yes.
Yes.
Even here, I have selected two kind of things. 4 villages are in the category of moderate accessibility. What kind of accessibility they were having at that point of time? Less distance from the nearest health center. You know, the Drukpa people that have walked on Baksa Duar region, it's a hilly terrain. Till now, till date, there is no road communication. I had to access to the far-flung areas after trekking almost 3 hours. Try to understand. I access some of the villages after almost trekking 3 to 4 hours in each day. I stayed over there. I just wanted to understand and experience their lifestyle. It's very easy to sit in Kolkata, in Siliguri and some of the metro city and to blame the tribal, they are being superstitious in their healthcare system, but it's not so easy to understand the thing. Once you are with them, once you know what is the situation, you should also think there must be some alternations. Let me proceed a little bit more. That they're also having a little bit close to the health center, but which is also far, means 1 hour walking. Village are little bit accessible in the rainy season. Tourist access are there. Sometimes tourists also visit. So these are some sort of very significant characteristic features I wanted to share with the category 1 in this case. Point to be noted, I'm talking about right now the Drukpa population living in the Baksa Duar region. The next category, category 2, 4 villages are there, quite far, not accessible. Even, in case of Ochilum Namna, I stayed over some sort of very close to Lalbanglo, and it takes 3.5 hours to reach over there. It's a trekking route. It's a hilly terrain, completely no accessibility of the motor car. Till now, because I have been making communication with them till date, although I have completed the work, but in anthropology, once you finish to work, it's not that you have to finish your relationship with the population. It's better to keep the populations with you every time. So this is some sort of things. And one point to be noted, in case of Santal, they were having their own religion, some sort of Hindu influence over there. I have already talked about that. But in case of the Drukpa, they're being Buddhist, having very close touch with a Buddhist religion. Some of them have already been converted to Buddhism from time immemorial. And later on, some of the population, you can easily figure out from the table, been converted to Christianity. So here, there is one twisting more that I didn't get even among the Santal population, that the populations are being divided into two religious segments in spite of having their animistic religion. First one is Buddhist and the next one is Christians. And that makes difference. Let me proceed. They're having a very, very simple conceptions. Even everyone, we have the conception. If I ask you, what do you know by health? Please let me know at least, what do you know by health? What is health? What is health for you? Anyone, please? Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
So what is health for you? Simply, simple understanding. I don't know. I don't need any kind of definition, WHO definition or something like this. You must have some perception regarding health, particularly from the students. So what does health mean for you? Just let me get into that matter first.
Sir, absence of disease.
Right. Absence of disease. Anyone, please?
Sir, it can be mental, physical.
Yeah, you are going a little bit with the definition of, I suppose, with the WHO definition. Am I right? Am I right?
Sir, your inbox is coming to us.
Oh, I'm sorry. Extremely sorry. If in a simply way, even what the Dukpa thinks, we also think that a typical health condition for someone is whenever we can perform some physical work, some social work, and we can have some role in the occupation, then we think that we are good in our health. That is a conception of good health or being healthy. And the same conceptions are also having among the Drukpa population. Along with that, they also are having their own etiology. Most of them conceptualize that bad health means suffering from Sinde. It's an attack of restless spirit. Whatever disease they have, whatever issue they have in their health, they always try to blame Sinde, according to their perception. I have already talked about that. It's a very technical one, but I think everyone can understand. As far as etiology is concerned, explanatory model. If you have anything, try to understand. If you have any ailment, what do you think? For example, cough and cold. These days, though, if you have cough and cold, you must be thinking, my God, I may have COVID-19. Everyone, we are getting scared of COVID-19. But if you have something stomachache, you must have thought, maybe I had a little bit more food. Maybe I wouldn't have taken fuchka on that day. But please confess yourself. If you have some sort of things like fever, something stomachache, someday you must have thought, maybe while having food, must have given some bad ice to my food. That's why I'm getting ill. Everyone, we have this kind of conceptions, knowingly or unknowingly. That means behind any kind of onset of illness, yes, there is a natural cause. What do we think? There is a supernatural cause. And sometimes there is amalgamation of natural and supernatural cause, which is known as explanatory model. Here, explanatory model means what patient thinks regarding the ailment. While visiting a doctor, what do? If you have some kind of ailments, you visit a doctor, what do? You must have some explanation. Doctor said, yes, please let me know. Why did you come over here? You must have your own explanation. That explanation known as explanatory model. And point to be noted for everyone, it differs from culture to culture. It differs from one ethnic group to another ethnic group. Am I understandable? It's a very simple thing. If you're not even belonging to the particular subject, then everyone can understand. So, but point to be noted, in this case, category 1 villages have less belief in natural forces. less believe in natural forces for category 1. That means they are believing more supernatural forces. You may be wondering, they are close to modern biomedical system. What I said for the Santal, those who are close to modern biomedical system believing less to supernatural connotation, but here it come opposite. Do you have any explanation why here it come opposite? Because those of far, quite far, they believing more to natural cause of ailments. Here religion plays role. Christianity plays role actually. In terms of orientation, in terms of modification, they are being completely engulfed by the conception of Christianity, which makes them little bit accentuated towards natural way of thinking behind the onset of disease. And along with that, they are also quite far from their ethnomedicinal practices, which are being still practiced by the first category of the people. Point to be noted. These are some sort of things, what they perform. I'm not going into details. I don't want my audience to bore at anywhere at any point of time, because you're listening to me paying for internet. I don't want that you pay more just to listening bogus lecture that I'm giving, I suppose. So I just not going to the detail, but details are there. Technicality is also there. And as an outsider, we always feel what they do, it's just a bogus thing. Simply bogus thing. But my dear listeners, it's not always bogus. Some sort of science behind that is there. I'm here to explain what kind of science. More things are there because the people living that Boxer forest area, Boxer Dua region is within the forest of Boxer. And people are venturing out to the forest. It's very often they're venturing out to the forest, being captured, according to them, by some sort of soul. And they always try to appease the soul. If you think it's a superstition, but it makes them more stronger in the forest area, where they often experience some sort of untoward situations, maybe by the attack of the animal, maybe some sort of other phenomena, which is quite common. And they're supposed to venture out to the forest in most of the time because it connects with their occupation. It connects with their collections of the forest produce, because most of the time these tribal people are living on the forest produce, particularly minor forest produce. Some sort of more spirits and the phenomena are going on. I'm not going to state the details on that. This one I just would like to mention. I've already talked even about the Santal. Most of the time, apart from any other things, even the villagers, which are very much close to the modern biomedical system, they also believe some sort of supernatural connotation, unusual thing for menstrual cycle and centering the menstrual cycle. Same kind of things I found even among the Drukpas. Dala Puja are kind of things you can understand, a blending rituals of animism and Buddhism. It's a typical worship performed among them. Worship may be held either once in a year. And point to be noted, a woman of a middle age fears that she has lost her menstrual cycle permanently. And eventually, the worship takes place. Because most of the time, we do worship for getting psychological support. Point to be noted, at the time of menopause, most of the women are having psychological problem. You know that. And they have done some sort of very elaborate worshipping proceedings. Everyone take place for few days. Maybe that women want to get out of these mental trauma, what most of the women usually get at the time of menopause. Let me proceed. If you think there is no science behind that, then I don't know why there is a science. Actually, it's a picture of that that I have taken during my fieldwork. A process is going on. regarding the healing mechanism. Childbirth. The government argues these days institutional childbirth. Try to understand their situation. Living in a 3 hours of trekking route, you don't know whenever labor pain starts. It may start at night, it may be at rainy days. Try to understand how can they access the closest health institution. We often argue the tribals are least bothered to access the modern biomedical health facilities. But do we really able to provide the accessibility to them? What would they do? They must have their own mechanism. Try to understand what actually the Drukpa people do, what actually the midwife taking care of most of the deliveries, what they do. They fixed a root of Lankasani plant with a thread, and the same is fastened in the waist of the pregnant lady. As a result, immediately after the action, within 10 to 15 minutes, the birth of the child occurs successfully. Just after the baby comes out, the same to be removed from the waist of the mother. You may be wondering, again, there may be belief. Yeah. But there is a science. Let me proceed to the next one. Lankasani, Borrelia diffusa. You know, Borrelia diffusa is extremely having the character which are being used as a painkiller. I haven't go through a detail on that, in what way, what proceedings, because there are lots of limitations, particularly taking interview on that kind of confidential data. But there is definitely a science behind using Lankasani, particularly during delivery proceedings. Have been successfully taken care by the Drukpa people, those who can't even access. Presently, I have been reported that government of West Bengal has introduced a Palki service to them. Try to understand, but it's a little bit tough, because even in Palki, you can imagine the situation, particularly during rainy days. In North Bengal, there is a 4 months of rain, severe rain. Sometimes it's more severe. So try to understand what happens with the pregnant lady. How do they access to the modern medical care? They don't have any other option to be supported and assisted by the DICE. And it's a long-term proceedings. Modern medical system is having 200 years of history. This, we don't know. Time memorial history, which are being used successfully for the sustenance of the population. If you say it's not science, maybe not science. There are some sort of more, ethnomedicines. I purposefully haven't used scientific name in most of the cases as requested. And I know that in most of the time, these are being used by the pharmaceutical companies. So the anthropology should take care of that. You can document that one, but take care that it shouldn't be going without recognizing the population. And that's why patents are being introduced. And, it's a kind of rights we can even understand as a cultural rights. Even for the Drukpa people, lots of plants, herbs, floras are being used to relieve the fever. As first aid, pneumonia, tonsil. You'll be wondering that how do they know pneumonia? No. They have explained their explanatory model. After that, some sort of cases they have also been intervened by the modern biomedical system, but failed to get the remedy. You may be wondering why? Because most of the time they are unable to continue the medication because of inaccessibility and because of not having money. Try to understand. Economic factor also plays role to getting an access of modern biomedical system. And most of the tribal people, they don't have required money that they can access that. So it's a supplementary for them. So there are other things, jaundice, first aid, and different kind of, plants and herbs that I have collected during my approximate 3 years of major research project that I have carried out on that particular Drukpa population. Before I end, I said I don't want to waste the time and your data more. Before I end, I just would like to state, there is a science. which is known as placebo effect. Most of the time, the tribal peoples are being treated with placebo effect, means psychologically assured. Whenever you have snake bite, as 80% snakes are not venomous, you're being treated by the Oja, whom you rely, you got psychological assurance and easily get rid of. That is known as placebo effect. Yeah, we can question the placebo effect, we can question the efficacy and scientific basis of the placebo effect, but try to understand what else they could do. Until and unless the modern biomedical system can't access full-fledgedly, and even if we argue for the modern biomedical system, how can we be so sure that shouldn't be any death after getting modern biomedical system? There is also failure, there is also limitations. I've already talked about that. Even after being used of the vaccines, we are being attacked by the COVID-19 and people are being died. That means there is limitations in all the medical segments and system. So my intention was to figure out the sustainable science, because modern biomedical system, apart from its so-called higher efficacy level, has its own limitation. Most of the time, the products are non-biodegradable. You know that, which are very much harmful to the environment. Try to understand. Herbal medicine, does it have any side effect? Most of the time, it doesn't have any side effect. Most of the time, there is no waste product which is harmful for the environment. But we often do it through the indiscriminate usages of modern biomedical system. So my intention to make you aware about the sustainable science and technologies from the so-called unscientific practices. But why don't we try to figure out the science behind that? There may be some amalgamation, there may be some things which really superstitious, but something which really scientific, and we can use it. There must be a coordination between traditional medical system and modern biomedical system. And I personally look forward to get these kind of ventures for future course of actions, and take an oath in this Science Day that all the scientific applications should be sustainable, not just an e-waste. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for that invaluable information and presentation. Now I request Professor Shampa Mundul to conduct the question answer session.
Thank you, Debushmita. Thank you, Dr. Tarafdar. So far, we do not have any questions as such. Thank you very much for your enlightening and comprehensible discussion. Debushmita.
Thank you, ma'am. I would like to invite Professor Tinku Gonai to present the posters made by the students.
Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This poster has been presented by Sati Dolui, Botany Honours First Sem. This one by Owen Banerjee, same 4 student. This is again by Owen. This poster has been presented by Ornisha Pal, Sem 4 student of Zoology department. This poster is been presented by Rahul Ekka, SEM4 student of chemistry department. This is by Akib Javed. This one by Suchetana Ghosh, Zoology Honours, SEM4 student. This is by Souvik De, 4th SEM student. This is by Pottusa Singha and Arnav Adap, Department of Botany, SEM4 student, SEM6 student. This is another poster by Seta Singh, semester 1 student. This is by Mim Khatun, semester 1 student of English department. This is by Sagarika Das, 6th sem student of Anthropology Department. This is by Suprabha Biswas of semester 1 student of Department of Botany. This is by Subra Hazra, semester 1 student. Okay, that's all. So, Smita, you can now proceed.
Thank you, sir. As we come to the end of the program, I request our IQAC coordinator, Dr. Kuntal Chattopadhyay, for the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Devoshmita. Hope I am audible to you all. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So it has been a very encouraging evening today, having heard two speakers on two different subjects. Both the deliberations are really very illuminating, analytical, very nicely presented. So my sincerest thanks to both the speakers. I must thank our principal madam for being with us as usual with her inaugural address, and more particularly for having reminded us that today our National Science Day coincides with Narasingha Datta Memorial Day. So that is doubly significant for us that we are holding a webinar on this day. Lot of thanks to our vibrant anchor, Devoshmita, having so well coordinated on the floor. And obviously, many thanks to the Science Club Secretary, Professor Subrata Kumar Bosu, and his team, who have really teamed up so well to present so nice topics today for our knowledge and enjoyment too. Thanks to the technical team who always works hard to prepare all the flyers and all that, which are necessary, controlling the session in different ways. So many thanks are always due to them. Thanks to all the participants, thanks to our young students who have presented a number of posters today, adding to our awareness and, in a sense, motivating us. That is indeed very astounding on our part. Thanks to all the participants, my colleagues and my students, and thanks to all who are associated with this evening's event. I would like to hand over to our respected Principal Madam to deliver her concluding comments. Principal Madam.
Sir, Principal Madam now engaged in a meeting. So she is not here. So you please conclude the session itself.
Okay, then, Subrata Babu, might be she has left for some reasons. So usually, Principal Madam herself concludes every session, and I thought that she will be there. In any case, we are really very delighted, very, very enriched, and once again, extending my thanks on behalf of the college, IQAC, and even Principal Madam, I would request you to be once again here, the speakers and the participants on some future program. You are most welcome. And with these words, I would declare today's session over. Thank you all. Good night.
Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for a patient hearing. Thank you. Namaskar. Good night. Stay safe and stay happy, everyone. Hope to meet all of you again.